Sometimes goodbye's the only way. Oh, and the sun will set for you. The sun will set for you, and the shadow of the day will embrace the world in grey, and the sun will set for you.
It makes me feel angry, upset and unhappy and not knowing what to do when people call me names.
It makes me feel less than I am.
I am sad. I am upset.
Made me feel frightened.
Made me scared.
It made me feel ashamed.
Made me sad.
Hi, I'm Rona Laskowski. I'm the Strategic Programme Manager for Disabilities with NHS Lothian. Hate crime can be a number of things. It can include being verbally abused, it can include people swearing at you, people threatening you or making you feel intimidated. It doesn't need to involve physically being attacked. It can be anything that makes you feel vulnerable and at risk. When we speak to people, they tell us, especially people with learning disabilities, they tell us that it happens a lot, that every day some people feel that they're being bullied or that people are swearing at them or treating them in a way that they wouldn't treat other people and making them feel bad. Some of the difficulty we have is that people don't think that's a serious enough matter to report. Because it's such a common occurrence for people with learning disability, they think it's an ordinary way of life. It's just something that happens.
My name is June Irving. I suffered bullying and discrimination all my life. And I was walking up to Herman Flat one day and this lassie called Cheryl grabbed hold of me. She says, I know when you're going. She says, oh, you're going up to that wheelie bin again. And I said, so what? If I am? And she grabbed hold of me and started pulling my hair and I started crying. And then she ran off to me. She said, oh, get up to wheelie bin, get up to wheelie bin where you belong. That's where you belong, you nutter. That's what she said to me. And I carried on walking up there crying my eyes out.
So Kev, we're talking about kids in high school especially.
Yeah.
And you were saying to me that they need to be taught to do things better.
Yes.
Who do you think should teach them to do things better?
Teachers.
To the teachers. Do you think people like yourself should go and tell them?
Yeah.
Because you said to me, although the police went up to speak to them,
Yes.
they didn't seem to listen as much.
No.
So do you think that the police helped, but they need help to help you?
Yeah.
What kind of trouble have you had?
Yeah, people put stupid names to me.
Calling you stupid names?
Yeah.
So how does it make you feel, Kevin?
Me, I'm not happy.
Does anybody in the bus try and stop them?
No.
The bus driver doesn't say
No.
anything. Have you told the police about how...
Police come and see and talk to me about it.
So the police, we told the police and
Yeah.
they came and spoke to you at Port City?
Yes.
Have the police tried to help you more?
Yes, I.
See, sometimes when it happens to you a lot, do you get upset about it?
Yes, I have, I.
Does it stop you going out as much?
Yes, it is.
Because you used to go out a lot on your own on the
Yeah.
bus. You don't go out as much now?
No.
So do you think the bus drivers need to help you more as well?
Yeah.
And what about other people on the bus?
The people in the bus they see me, you know, I'm alright or no.
Do they say you're right,
Yeah.
but they don't try and stop them?
Yeah.
Do you think they're scared too?
I mean, thank you, it has.
What would you say to the teachers?
Teachers that your parents for me and to need bus stop.
So they need to do more at the bus stops?
Yeah, the more bus stops.
And on the buses?
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Kevin.
You're right.
My name is Mandy Smith. I'm the Senior Community Warden for East Lothian Council. I've been in post now for 4 years. The actual Warden service was launched in September 2008, where we recruited 7 community wardens. That's one for each ward across East Lothian. We also do a number of daily foot patrols, cycle patrols in different areas across East Lothian. You frequently see us walking around the streets of East Lothian or cycling about in distinctive red and black jackets with community wardens written across the back. We also work a shift pattern where we work one weekend in 3 where we participate in East Lothian Council's nighttime noise service. We go into schools, speak to school children in relation to early intervention, and again that's looking at things like graffiti, vandalism, you know, sort of like hanging about together in large groups of youths and how other people actually perceive that. East Lothian Council have their own antisocial behaviour reporting line, and of a weekend we actually take real-time those calls. If somebody calls the antisocial behaviour helpline, that will actually come through to us and we will actually carry out any necessary investigations prior to passing it across to the antisocial behaviour team. The piece of advice that I'd give to anybody that finds themselves being the victim to any type of bullying is that the only way that that situation will ever change is if you tell somebody.
My name's Jeannie Auld and I live in Trinent. I've never been bullied because I can stick up for myself. They don't respect disabled people, and that's why they get bullied. That's your big issue. I think it's adults more than children. A lot of it comes from adults. I wouldn't say some of it will come from children as well, but the biggest majority comes from teenagers, adults. Trouble comes from the parents, because if they come from a bad childhood party, that is bullying. Because I mean, there's a lot of bad parents out there. The teachers should talk about them more, because that's how they go to school to get disciplined. But it doesn't happen.
My name's Carrie Poole. I'm one of the local area coordinators and I work in Haddington. We work with disabled people of any age, of any disability on any subject. So it's a very wide remit. Basically, people can come to our service for advice, for signposting, for actual support. We work with a great variety of different people who come to use our service, and it's very person-centred and it is led by the person themselves. In the course of building a relationship with individuals, they're quite likely, as that trust builds up with people, that part of that relationship is that they will tell you some very unfortunate stories of things that have happened in their past which are quite appalling. I think I've heard people tell their stories of past experiences where they've been very verbally abused about their disability, and that wounding has lasted many years, and it's deeply upsetting. It still upsets people as though it was yesterday, and it upsets me that throwaway comments are so deeply hurtful. Disabled children are now being educated in mainstream schools, and I think there's an opportunity there for other children to learn about disability, to have friendships with disabled children, and to understand their disability better. If every child from sort of babyhood, nursery and primary school and secondary schools and mainstream schools, I think that should have a positive impact on society's ability to accept difference. I think it's going to take some time for this whole shift to take place. And I think that in the past there's been a lot of fear of disabled people because they've been shut away historically. And when people first were coming into the community from institutionalised care, it was a bit of a cultural shock, I think, for a lot of people in the last 20 years.
It all started in East Linton. What happened there?
Margaret Bellet in the house herself.
Right.
This chap at the top would always be knocking on his door, knocking on the doorway and shouting at it at 1 and 2 o'clock in the morning. Every morning and that.
And that's what happened, Margaret?
That's what happened.
Yeah. Did it happen often to you?
It did. I wasn't getting any sleep at all. Well, just as soon as she says, Margaret, you look like a zombie. I says, I know, I've not had any sleep at all. And then she says, right, we're going to get you removed from there, away from him altogether, because I wasn't getting hardly any sleep at all.
Right. You had to move from Archerfield down to Walker.
Yeah.
Was it Walker?
Walker Terrace.
Walker Terrace, is that right?
Yeah.
And what happened then?
The kids all started making a fool in the street and all that.
Yeah, what was that like, Margaret, when it happened to you?
Pretty upsetting. Also scared out my wits.
A whole gang used to chase after her and make a fool of her, just even frightened to go down the street.
Right.
Because they wouldn't leave her alone.
What kind of kids were they? What age were they?
School kids, about 10 to 11 year old.
Right. Not a nice experience.
No, it wasn't.
So you then moved from Eastland to Addington, that right? Yeah.
That's right, up to Addington to Artillery Park.
Artillery Park.
Yes.
And what happened there?
They used to when I was out playing the accordion, she was in the house herself, and they used to throw doggy stuff in the letterbox and light cigarettes and make a fool outside and knock at the door, and there's sometimes playing music upstairs till about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. That was all the complaints.
What was that like, Margaret?
It was pretty terrifying.
Because?
Because making a fool of me going down the street and then let's say that. I was frightened to come out the main door.
What happened during the night then?
At night time, that was the same. I was watching.
What's your telly?
Watching the telly, and I thought there was somebody at the door. And until then, I found one cigarette half lit through my letterbox. And the next minute later, I had the letterbox again. And the next minute, it was the dog's dart going through my letterbox as well.
I'd been tormenting her again at Artillery Park. Chased after them to give them a warning. This other guy had been going to slit my throat. Get ready. Okay, just bluff, cut my throat. It didn't work. They ran away after me, like anyway. But how did you think it made me feel? Responsible for Margaret and myself.
So, with the experience at Artillery Park, you then applied for a change again. Yeah.
That's right.
So you've now moved into field housing, that's sheltered housing.
Yeah.
And how are you finding that, Margaret?
I feel a lot safer. I've got my own independence back.
Hello, I'm Anne Thompson. I'm the lead officer for Adult Protection, working with the Adult Protection Committee, which is a joint committee covering East Lothian and Mid Lothian. The council, via the social work department, has a legal duty to make inquiries and take protective action if they know or believe that someone is an adult at risk of harm and that they're not able to safeguard themselves. I think in my experience of being a social worker over a number of years, for a lot of people it was part and parcel of daily life. If they've lived all their life like that, they don't know what life without that bullying and abusive behaviour actually is like. So for us as workers to go along and offer them something, you don't want to be living like this. Actually, a lot of people don't know what the other side of the coin is. The psychological, the verbal stuff for people with learning disabilities is a huge issue, and I think we can't underestimate the distress and the hurt that it causes. The damage that can cause people to their self-esteem, to be able to hold their head up when they're walking along the street. You can see people actually just sag when that kind of language is used. And that's something about the adult support and protection legislation, is that harm is very much measured by the impact it has on the person and not trying to generalise it in any way. In reports about the murder of people where it's been a disability hate crime, often the sheriffs will say it's a motiveless murder. That's nonsense. Nothing is motiveless, and often it has started with a bit of harassment that's just been pushed further and further and further until it's gone to the ultimate extreme. One of the cases was a young man at a bus stop in, I think it was Newcastle. From something that would seem really quite innocuous, name calling or poking somebody as they go past them. It's the accumulation of that. So don't underestimate what the disability hate crime can do to people. It is a really serious crime.
How would it make you feel